The idea is simple. Find the clues to reach the monster's lair and kill it. Then extract with its bounty. The twist? There's other hunters in the area who are looking for that same bounty, and they are not friendly. I have good news for you. It's one of the best multiplayer FPS games I have ever played. In this video, I'm going to discuss my experiences with the game and why I think it's worth playing. I recently bought the game and want to give my fresh perspective on Hunt Showdown and find out if it's worth playing this year. What makes Hunt Showdown stand out for me is its focus on the PvE aspect of the game. The open world is littered with AI enemies and traps that bring life to the world. It doesn't feel like an extraction shooter, it feels like a survival horror game. Creeping around the bayou while you're stealthy and searching for the clues around the map to find the monster's lair. The most intense parts are the moments of silence between all of the sound traps. There are what's called sound traps littered throughout the map. Things like animals or objects inside a house, and even a floor with shattered glass. These all telegraph your location to others around you if you activate them, and the same applies for the other hunters. At the start of the match, when you spawn in, it's not as important to pay attention to sound traps. Most other hunters won't be close to you because they all spawn in a different part of the map. I typically try to chase down the clues at the start anyway and ignore most of the sound traps, but as the match progresses, it becomes more important to move slower, watch or listen for audio cues in the distance, as they could tell you where enemy hunters are. Honestly, I've never played a game that took such good care of having a sound design that flows into the gameplay loop as well as Hunt Showdown. It's truly an innovative way to have the sound play a larger role than just the usual backseat way sound is used inside a video game. The weapons are unique but realistic enough to be believable in their design. I love the aesthetic that Hunt Showdown has with its weapons and other equipment. It's almost like mythical cowboys from an alternative timeline. Besides the visuals of the weapons itself, once again Crytek have outdid themselves with the combat loop. Ammo is limited on your hunter and scarce throughout the world itself. You need to make each shot count because not only is ammo limited, you will also give your position away to hunters in the area. Being an easy target for a stick of dynamite or being flanked by many hunters on the same team can make you vulnerable. Speaking about hunters, Hunt Showdown features tons of hunters that you can choose from, and each have their own unique starting stats like HP and perks. It's important to note that when your hunter dies, you do lose him and all of his loot. It does have that extraction shooter aspect after all. But the permanency of losing your hunter and gear does add to that element of fear, causing you to play more cautious and take things slow. My first few games I got my ass handed to me in combat. It's like everyone knows where I am on the map and I'm being so loud running around, tripping sound traps and giving my position away. But after a while I started to understand that as a solo player in this game you need to take things stealthily and do not engage if you know you can't kill the other hunter. And speaking of solo, so far I've played the game solo and it adds to that layer of survival horror, running around the map alone surrounded by hunters and horrors. Dare I say I feel like I'm playing an old school Silent Hill or even Resident Evil. Anyway, one thing that bothers me that as a solo player I tend to fight lots of other hunters who are grouped up in teams of 2. Luckily you don't have to face the teams of 3 because you can turn that off. But in lots of encounters I found myself outgunned and outmatched by 2 hunters. Plus, don't forget about those pesky third parties that also joining the fight, making things chaotic for a solo player who is new to the game. I have not been able to outplay a team yet, even though you get bonus rewards for extracting solo, it's still difficult. I did queue for a couple of games with random duos, so it's not all gloom and doom. So if you really feel like solos isn't your thing, you can always join up with up to 2 random players and make a team of duos or trios. I personally don't like it though, as randoms tend to be wildcards where they do their own thing unless I run behind them like an NPC in follow mode. Also, expect to face more duos if you queue up with a friend or a random. My time playing would probably be better if I was playing with a friend, so I guess I can't complain too much about the situation. I know what I was getting myself into when I decided to buy the game, so I guess I'll just have to get good. Or I can just pull out my solid snake stealth skills and sneak around the map and try and steal bounties from other hunters. When you kill a monster in its lair and you grab its bounty, there is a downside. Other hunters can see you on the map no matter where you are, so you're a sitting duck. So what I did was I tend to beeline it straight to the extraction zone as soon as possible, but I have found that some people do camp the extraction zone and they try to steal the bounty from you, and this happened to me in my most recent game, but I was able to kill the hunter and extract in a different zone. But the bonus is you can also see hunters through walls for a short time. This is quite OP, but I mean it is balanced because your position is constantly being given away. The maps are beautiful, and this is what you would expect to see from a company that made Crysis. A mixture of lush beauty with a hint of evil. When I walk through the maps, I think to myself, man, this place is messed up. What happened here? The environmental storytelling is top tier in Hunt Showdown and rivals that of the best like Elden Ring. Everywhere I go and every NPC you find is a story to be told. I'm a complete noob in the game, and I've noticed that most players are completely cracked in this game, using all types of tactics to dismantle me and my plans. One look in the spectate menu after you die and you can tell how amazing some of these players are. I just wish the MMR ranking system was a bit more forgiving. Every now and then it just drops me into a game with some elite players who destroy me in less than 10 minutes. And even though I've got a perk that's called the Necromancer that lets me self-res, it's useless because most people know that I'm going to res, so they either camp my body or they set up traps around my corpse that insta-kill me after I resurrect. These moments do induce feelings inside of me that I would rather keep buried. But like I said earlier, I knew what I was getting myself into, and if you're okay with that, then grab this game. Anyway, I would say Hunt Showdown is a must play this year and every year. I want to be transparent and say that the most challenging thing in this game is not hunting bosses in their lair and extracting. It's the other veteran hunters who will school you in a heartbeat, leaving you with no hunter and no loot. One thing I've started doing was, if I know the game is lost and I don't want to lose my hunter, I just extract with no bounty. And yes, it's the coward's way out, but I never said I was Mr. Brave. It's an intense first-person shooter that feels like a survival horror, and I would recommend that you pick up this game on sale if you have the extra cash and you want to play something that isn't pay to win and it's a skill-based game. You can also get a friend to help you out, or you could watch some YouTube guides. And this is a live service game, and Crytek is selling some DLC hunters to make some cash on the side. I mean, they've got to make their bread somehow, they've got to pay their developers, so I don't mind it at all. The one thing that's really a plus is that most of the DLCs, if not all of the DLCs, is cosmetic only. There's no pay to win in this game, it's all skill based, so if you want to play something where you know somebody else does not have the advantage over you after buying something, then this is definitely the game.